Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are here, and it's a special day. It's a special prediction day. It's become a tradition on the channel to give a preview, or prediction, I guess, because it's not a preview, it's a prediction, for what I think we could see the NASCAR schedule looking like in the next season. Now, I know it's a little bit early to dive into that, but the reason we're doing that, again, normally we start, looking at this in maybe June, but I wanted to get an early jump on it, right? I felt like it's a perfect time to write an article, so I did, and that is now available on my website, epicw.net, right there on the hat, and it's also available on X, so wherever you want to see the articles, either one of those places, it will be. So I gave a whole breakdown of tracks and all that stuff. So today we're going to have the companion video that goes with it because the article's out at the same time this video is. So let's take a look. So, of course, in 2025, there are a few changes to the NASCAR landscape, right? You have Amazon Prime Video and TNT coming into the sport in a broadcasting capacity. Of course, TNT is a previous broadcaster, and Amazon Prime Video is brand new. So, kind of want to give a breakdown of what I think we're going to see with each of those broadcasters specifically, and just what the schedule is going to look like. Because the schedule is definitely going to revolve around those broadcasters in general, right? They're going to have different demands and things they want to see, and there's going to be different things NASCAR is trying to do to get those different areas to really work. So, the first one we're going to start, of course, is Fox. They're going to start the schedule, as they have pretty much every year. Goddamn. Cleaned my fan earlier. Got the dust off of it, and it's been a little bit obnoxious in here since then. So, yeah. So, Fox starting off, we're going to have the Clash, of course. I think we will see that go to Mexico. I know that's been the main rumor. I know they want to do international. They haven't said the Clash should be LA Coliseum. I know there was rumors of Dodger Stadium, but I don't think that's going to be the Clash. I think Mexico has a very, very good chance to be the Clash track that we see. That would be the track that they use for Formula One. So that's what I'm thinking with that. Thinking Daytona and Atlanta, very similar to what we saw in 2024. I think that really worked this year. I mean, popularity-wise, it's definitely helped boost NASCAR, especially with the Atlanta finish. But again, having the type of race that you see with Daytona carry over slightly into Atlanta, again, you have that pack racing. It's a little different, but you do have that. I think that really, really helps. So I think we'll expect to see that again next year. West Coast tracks, I think we're going to see the same kind of element there. I think you will see Los Angeles and / Southern California, so I have it written out here, some sort of track there. That's the only one that I didn't really nail down and specifically say this is going to be the track, just because I think that date is going to be used. I don't know if they're going to go to a short track in the area, or if you're going to see that be where they use the Dodger Stadium plan, right? I don't know. I didn't specifically want to say it's going to be this or that. So I just think you're going to see something in LA or Southern California market. Again, West Coast tracks can go in any order. I just kind of have LA, Las Vegas, Phoenix. Again, it can go Phoenix, Las Vegas, LA. It doesn't matter. I have Circuit of the Americas returning. SMI was pretty much leaning towards saying that it was going to come back. Again, SMI leases Circuit of the Americas for that weekend using one of the two Texas Motor Speedway dates for Circuit of the Americas. All right, after that I have North Wilkesboro kind of replacing Bristol. I think that Bristol in the springtime worked a little bit this year, but again, I can see that going to be something maybe they do with North Wilkesboro with the date for that. Then I have Martinsville staying in its spot or close to where it was. Same with Texas, Talladega, Kansas, and Dover. All those tracks kind of staying in the similar area Again, I think the big change is giving North Wilkesboro a points race, having the race in Los Angeles / Southern California, and the Clash in Mexico. Those are the big things I have for Fox. Switching to Amazon Prime, I kind of had to pick just a spot to slot this in. I think NASCAR doing a second street race isn't insane. And I know Denver has been the rumored location, right? So why not throw it on the schedule as, hey, it could happen next year? Again, could it? Is it going to be something they're going to do that early in the season? Who knows? Is that really going to be the first race they want to start a new broadcaster at? I'm not sure. But I think seeing Denver as a street race could be an interesting move. Obviously, we know that they want to do more street races for NASCAR. I'm not against it. I like the road course street race aspect, as long as we don't have half of the schedule. I'm good with there being... I was good with last year having 7. I'm be honest. I liked it. I think that 5 to 7 is a solid range. I'd like to see 7 be the spot, though. I think that was really good last year. So, seeing a Denver street race isn't too wild, so I have that in there. I do have the All-Star race next. Now, the All-Star race is one of the 14 races that Fox is doing. Fox is doing 14 total, including the Clash and All-Star race, so they're having 12 points races and 2 non-points races. Prime and TNT each have 10, and NBC has 14 to make 38 total. Again, 36 points races, 2 non-points races. But again, I think that keeping... Again, we did see in 2020 the All-Star race and the Coke 600 not line up. But I would be surprised if it didn't at least try to keep that consistency, keep that going. It's been something that sort of always happened, is the All-Star race and then the Coke 600. So I could see first race on Prime, All-Star race on Fox, which I'm saying Rockingham. I know they're pushing the people working in Rockingham. A lot of people want to see that track come back. Doing an old track, seeing how it was received by fans and how the facility handled racing. Of course, Rockingham isn't as far removed as North Wilkesboro was. But then again, it's only 8 years different from 1996 to 2004. So, Rockingham, again, reviving that track. Its last race in 2004. You saw it with North Wilkesboro last year, revived after not having a race since 1996. So, I think you could see Rockingham come back, and being the All-Star race is what a lot of people are saying and want to see, so I agree with that. I don't think it's a bad move. Again, now we're kind of going into a similar stretch of tracks, what we have currently. Coke 600 I do have on Prime, I think, having a crown jewel event. Basically, each network is going to get something big as an event. Fox at Daytona 500. I have Amazon Prime getting the Coke 600. I think that's a big event. I think that will get people who are hesitant to say, I want to get Prime, or maybe older fans who are a little bit less inclined to jump to a streaming service, or just people that are saying, I'm not going to pay to watch a race. Maybe more interested to watch it because Coke 600, again, is one of the 4 crown jewel events. Daytona 500, Coke 600, Southern 500, and Brickyard 400. Again, I would put Bristol Night Race probably in that group, but those are the 4 crown jewel events. After Coke 600, I have Worldwide Technology, Sonoma, and Iowa. Again, keeping them in a similar spot as what they are now on Fox, just on Prime. So again, Prime would have 2 big events though with Denver, Street Race, and Coke 600. So I think it's good to get people into streaming. Next on TNT, which is also going to be on Max, so that has a little bit of streaming to it. Again, it's not going to be exclusively on Max. It will be on the TNT channel, but you can stream it on Max. I have this starting with New Hampshire. TNT always kind of did New Hampshire in their broadcast, so I'm just saying, it'd be kind of cool to have them go back to that when they did the summer races back in the day. Nashville, again, kind of fits in. New Hampshire, Nashville go together on the schedule now, and I don't see them changing it. Again, it kind of just certain tracks you don't need to move. So, and Chicago Street Course is one of the only two races that has a set date. Along with Daytona 500, those are only two that have a specific set day. Daytona 500 is February 16th. Chicago Street Race is, I believe it's the 6th next year. It's 4th of July weekend, basically. There's only two that at the time of making the video, writing the article, have a set date. So that's why Chicago Street Course is where it is. And again, that gives TNT a bigger event. Chicago Street Race, one of the most viewed events last season. Actually, I think it was. Maybe it didn't have 500 had more. I don't know. But it was the biggest viewed event on NBC at least. So that's where it's set. And again, keeping with the New Hampshire, Nashville tracks that kind of have just gone together on the schedule the last few years, Pocono also goes in that group. Those kind of three have been in a row in the summer. So I put Pocono there after Chicago. Then I have Canada, which would be, again, at the F1 track that they race at, and where the Xfinity Series raced for quite a few years, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, that track. And I have it set in the date that it is because I think, again, when it lines up, I looked at where the F1 race lined up because F1 already put out their whole schedule. F1's set for next season. So I wanted to kind of line it up to be outside of that range because F1 kind of likes to control a lot of the stuff in there. It's like a 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after kind of thing. So I put it outside of that. But I know part of the track is like a little bit temporary. I don't think it's actual streets, but like is a walking area. So I'm assuming probably part of it's temporary. So putting it around when the F1 races, but outside of that window, works. So that's why I have it where it is. And again, big race like that, putting it on. Thumbs up. Why the hell did that show up? Thumbs up thingy. Show me again. I hope that showed up in the recording. It was me looking dumb. But there was a thumbs up on the screen for whatever reason. I don't know. My MacBook decided I needed a thumbs up in a bubble. So yeah, Canada, I think they're giving NASCAR its first Cup Series points race in Canada in, well, basically a long time. I guess they did one maybe way back in the day when they just counted random things as points races, but, modern era. NBC has the last 14 races, basically the playoffs and the 4 races leading into it. Indy with the Brickyard 400. Again, I think that that's something that they've liked to have. Indy for pretty much at least since 2015. NBC's like to have the Indianapolis race, whatever it is, whether it's Brickyard 400 or the Red Course race the last few years. So they like to have it. I see them starting out with Indy as a good move. Richmond, I think, will be here as well. Again, I think Richmond only gets one date, but putting it in a similar spot to what it's had the last few years. I realized that through making all this, I left out Michigan. Well, that's not going to happen, but Michigan's not having a race, I guess, next year. I realize that now, but whatever. I don't think Michigan's going to lose a date, but I don't know what you take out, so we're going to leave it the way it is. I just realized Michigan loses a race date with my schedule. Good job, me. I wrote a whole article, and now I made almost, we're 14 minutes into the video, and now I just realized I forgot Michigan. Brilliant. Well, no Michigan, guys, sorry. What did I do? How did I do that? I guess adding Denver Street Race messed that up. Okay. Right. So after Richmond, I have Atlanta because I think that Atlanta being in the playoffs is a bit too chaotic. And I think it very much fits in with this year, the way that things with the Olympic break line up. That kind of forced the dates to change a little bit. So, of course, NBC has the Olympics this year, so there's a 2 week gap. So I'm assuming that pushes everything back a week. and that's why everything's kind of strange. Let me see if that's correct. Yes. So the Olympics push the season back by 1 week. Normally it ends the first week of November. We're looking at the second week. So that's why. And then Darlington can't move because of its Labor Day weekend traditional date. So, again, with that, I think everything goes back to normal. And you see Daytona being the cutoff race. But with that, some of the things move around a little bit. So this year, Daytona has moved up to race 25. Darlington's the cutoff race. I think next year, Darlington goes back to the opening race of the playoffs. And I think that you see Daytona's the cutoff. But I think Atlanta Daytona, who at NASCAR is going to say no to that? Yeah. They're all for the chaos at this point. So I think Daytona Atlanta too. What are you looking at, Inchon? Look at a creature outside? Bruh. I think there's a creature outside. He's interested in probably like a deer. God, I get so fucking distracted. Alright. Opening round of the playoffs. Darlington, Watkins, Glen, Bristol. Again, Darlington goes back. I think Atlanta moves out of the playoffs. And Watkins Glen keeps its date. Kansas, Talladega, Charlotte, Roval stay the same as they are this year. Then I see Las Vegas and Martinsville in the round of 8. But in between Las Vegas and Martinsville, I'm thinking we're going to have Phoenix. I think Homestead and Phoenix are going to switch dates, giving us Homestead for the final race of the year. I think that's kind of what we're looking at. So I don't think it's going to be overall insane. I think, again, forgetting Michigan is a bit of a mistake by me. I think either in that situation you wouldn't have the Denver street race. I think that's the most far out option. Or some other track that NASCAR owns loses a date that they have 2 of. I think those are the 2 realistic options. I don't think Michigan's going to lose a race. That was just an oversight by me. So if anything's not going to happen, I think it's the Denver street race. So there's that. Also, I do want to hypothetically say that Chicago, if the city decides to end their contract, I think Chicago just moves to Chicagoland. But they do have, I think, a little bit to decide that. But hypothetically, that doesn't need to change. I think Chicagoland just fills into that slot. I think after the Chicago street race is done, I think 2026 we see Chicagoland come back. But either way, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments/response section, depending on what platform you're watching on, what you think. And we'll see you guys in the next one.